the appearance of this fossil, which I think scientists are talking about this widely because it's considered to be a great advance in scientific publicity. The way this fossil was rolled out like it was a new tour of a rock band. Right. And even though scientifically it is magnificent to see a specimen preserved down to the level of the contents of the stomach, despite its name, it really isn't a missing link. What fascinates us about missing links is that even today, a majority of our compatriots don't believe in an idea that you and I would probably agree is one of the most important ideas in the history of human thought, namely Darwin's theory of natural selection. And one of the grounds for skepticism is the claim that you hear over and over again that no one has ever discovered a transitional fossil, which ironically is nowhere more false than in the case of Homo sapiens, where not only are there many transitional fossils, but before any of them had been found, Darwin correctly predicted that they would be found in Africa. Why? That's where the chimps live. And the chimps are morphologically the closest extant species to humans. That when an animal displays a particular intention with a particular conformation of muscles and joint postures, when it is in the opposite emotional state, it will display the opposite configuration or the opposite posture. And so he used this to explain why dogs wag their tails. That when a dog is ready to attack, it will lean forward, muscles rigid, tail pointed straight behind in preparation to leap. What does a dog do when it's in a friendly frame of mind? It crouches down, has its head up, and its tail is limply wagging. Now, you ask, what's the equivalent in the human case? Well, when a human assumes an aggressive or angry posture, you have the shoulders squared, the brow lowered, the head facing forward, the arms pronated, and the fists clenched. Now, what happens when you have the joint for joint, muscle for muscle opposite of that? Well, you've got the head to the side, the brows raised, the shoulders hunched, the arms supinated, and the hands open. The evolution of the shrug.
One of the things that's become clear, just by serendipity in the past years, that simultaneous with my own little book, Desmond and Moore have published their big book, Darwin's Sacred Cause, Desmond and Moore being two of Darwin's most distinguished biographers, which is simply about Darwin and abolitionism, and in which they try to root Darwin's commitment very early on to an evolutionary view into evolution by natural selection from 1838 on, as being inextricably bound to his belief in abolition, that is, to his hatred of slavery, particularly as it was practiced in the United States, as practiced in South America as well. And so that, that his end was both, in some sense, in a certain way, in a tendentious way, in a way that was that he had a political agenda, but the political agenda was exactly universalism. That is, that it was about, that it was unthinkable, unimaginable for one race of human beings to enslave another race because they were simply brothers within the same family. And part of that was partly the inheritance of the Darwin and Wedgwood family on both sides. You know, it was the Wedgwoods, his Wedgwood grandfathers who had made that famous abolitionist plate showing the slave in shackles saying, "Am I not a man and a brother?" And that's so that, in some sense, if there's a political agenda in Darwin's own work, it's radical universalism, not its opposite.
Value as humans and what was a Darwinian adaptation needn't, and in fact often don't coincide. My favorite example is reading, which is
clearly not
one of the most glorious of our accomplishments, is clearly not a Darwinian adaptation.
It's too recent to.
It's too recent. It's not naturally acquired. We've got to send our kids to school. It's only developed in a small number of societies and so on. On the other hand, one could make an argument that genocide is an evolutionary adaptation, and so it's just important to distinguish, as I think not enough people do, what we value, what's adaptive in the sense of healthy, and what is adaptive in the technical sense biology.
Makes more of you if you kill off all the neighboring tribe rather than,
or for whatever reason,
reading Louisa May Alcott makes fewer of you.